Is it just me, or is the Ghostbusters theme song one of the most catchiest theme songs ever? No, it's just me? Okay, great. That's what I thought. Hello, my little YouTube family. Welcome to Nerd News, a show that is created for nerds by a nerd. And honestly, I was going to do a Wonder Woman 2 trailer review, but the day that I was formulating the script to do that episode, the Ghostbusters trailer came out and I went, yeah, Wonder Woman can wait. I mean, the small little Chris child that lives in my head was like, hey, you gotta do this instead, or else I'm going to fade away. And so he convinced me to talk about the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, and well, here we are, kids. But like in every episode, before we get started, if this is your first time here, please guys, please hit the like, the subscribe, and that amazing notification bell. And every time you hit that notification bell, a small little orphan puppy will find a home. Okay, that's not true. This episode isn't sponsored by Sarah McLachlan, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let's get into this. So you're all probably wondering, why are they doing another Ghostbusters film in this legendary film franchise? I mean, we already had two great movies that came out in the 80s that blended a perfect mix of horror, action, and comedy, and was just a great formula with an amazing comedic cast that worked very well. Then we had the reboot in 2016 that was fun. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but it didn't capture that, you know, that witty, charmy kind of feel that the first two movies did. But now we are back on track, and this new, I guess, sequel, or it's pretty much a sequel to the second Ghostbusters, so it's a third part. Pretend the movie in 2016 didn't even exist. Now, the first two movies were directed by the great Ivan Reitman. He has done a slew of great movies that you have loved and adored throughout the times. Well, this time around, Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman, will be reigning in the director's chair, and it's going to be great. I mean, what a great way to pass down. It's like the family business. It's like, son, one day, you too would direct Ghostbusters. Now, first off, when I heard that this was happening, I was like, okay, who's the cast? You know, are the girls coming back? Like, what's going on? Talk to me. So you will notice some new faces, new-ish faces, and some old faces. Now, the first new addition is Finn Wolfhard. Now, you'll recognize Finn from Stranger Things and It. And, you know, his comedic acting is perfect for this kind of film. Plus, he already was destined to be in Ghostbusters because he wore the Ghostbusters costume for Halloween in season 2 of Stranger Things. Then you got the ageless wonder, the man who I think he found the fountain of youth, and he has it somewhere in his basement, and that of Paul Rudd. I mean, I don't have to explain how his comedy fits in with this world because it's Paul Rudd. The man's hilarious. But I mean, seriously, he does not age. What does he drink? What does he eat to make himself still look like he's 20 when he's like 50? I don't know how old he is, really. And the rest of the cast, you might recognize them. A little man by the name of Bill Murray, Andy Potts, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, and Dan Aykroyd. Man, the boys are back. I mean, and just having the original cast in this movie is worth the price of admission just based off of that. Now, there is one Ghostbuster who will not be in this movie. Harold Ramis sadly passed away. He played Egon Spengler. But there will probably be some kind of tribute for him in this movie, and rightfully so, because the man was hilarious. Now, once they said that the cast would be back, you expected to see them in the trailer. No, you don't see them, sadly, in this trailer at all. But you do get an amazing voiceover from Bill Murray. It was one of the lines that he said in, I think it was Ghostbusters 1, and it just gave you goosebumps. Goosebusters. No. Goosebusters. No, ghost bumps. No, goosebump busters. We'll move on. We'll keep going. Goosebumps, bumps, boosters, ghosts. Now, in the timeline of this movie, ghosts have not been seen in a really long long time. In fact, they're a thing of myth, and they've only been referenced throughout, newspaper clippings and old videos of when they were around in New York City. Now, the plot of this movie, though, is this family moves into this small town. Think of like Opie Cunningham, small. Well, gee, Pa, there's ghosts. Now, the plot synopsis is when a single mom moves into this small town, they start to unravel connections that connects them to the Ghostbusters, and they start to unravel things about their grandfather. Ooh, who is their grandfather? Oh, they say in the trailer, it's Egon. But throughout this trailer, guys, this movie seems to capture that fun, quirky, just creepy element that the first two movies had. And I think that's what was missing from the 2016 version, is just that fun, quick, not slapstick comedy, but that, like, those lines that just take you off guard and you're like, I didn't expect that to happen, and you start belly laughing. And in the trailer, you see the kids slowly start finding pieces of the equipment, like the trap, the ghost trap. They find Ecto-1, they find the proton pack, and they start using it. And it almost has a feeling of like, I think the old Ghostbusters are going to pass the torch to this new generation of Ghostbusters. Mic drop. And at some point, there's probably going to be some kind of training montage, of like Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd teaching the kids, no, this is how you capture this ghost. It's like Rocky, but with ghosts. You get small glimpses of the ghosts in this trailer, but nothing really concrete to kind of formulate like, oh, that's a bull ghost. That's a librarian. You just see little glimpses, which is kind of cool because it gives you a little, mystery as to, what's in the movie. And you see Paul Rudd giving the kids a little history lesson as to, when the Ghostbusters were in their heyday, they were at the top of the city, everyone knew them, they were all over, they were the biggest thing since the Beatles, because, ghosts haven't been around in a long time, so the kids are like, yeah, I heard about these guys, but what's the big deal? Now, there's no hints as to what the main villain is, because, we had the gatekeeper and the keymaster, and then we had Vigo the Carpathian on the second movie. So in this one, we don't know who the Ghostbusters are fighting. The only thing I could think of is there's one shot where you see this big black claw step on the front of a car, and it almost looked like a paw print. And if you remember, in the first movie, there were the demon dogs. Well, they might be back. And also, you see kind of like a character that almost resembles Slimer, which he has to be back in this movie. It's Slimer. He's one of the most popular villains ever. Well, he's not really a villain, but you know what I mean. Oh, and about Slimer, here's a little bit of a trivia for you. Slimer was originally visually molded from Jim Belushi, because Jim Belushi was supposed to be one of the Ghostbusters, but he passed away. So to honor his life, they made pretty much Slimer is Jim Belushi. Now you know. And of course, we can't mention Ghostbusters without mentioning the Stay Puft. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is the coolest yet most delicious thing I've seen. You want to take a bite out of his leg. He's a giant marshmallow. Who wouldn't? He has to be back at some point in this, or the marshmallow's son. He'll have like a, almost like Baby Yoda, but Baby Mellow. That's stupid. Why did I say that? And I think this movie is coming out at a perfect time with, Marvel dominating the box office. It's nice to see an old classic kind of resurface itself, Obviously, it's going to be a new movie, but, to come back and see these characters again, it's pretty cool, man. And Ghostbusters is a movie that I used to watch as a kid, and I still do as an adult, that freaked me out on certain scenes, and I may be the only one, but I wanted Vigo the Carpathian painting in my house. Can you imagine if someone came over and you have a giant, massive painting of Vigo the Carpathian, and they walk in and they're like, yeah, no, bro, I'm actually gonna get going. It's freaky. So what did you guys think of Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer? Now it is trailer 1, so who knows what we're gonna see in trailer 2. And if you guys enjoyed this episode and or enjoy my channel, please check out my social media accounts. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and on both of those, I update them daily so that you are in the know. And until next time, guys, remember, if there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!